Hi. Video 1 and 2 are already up. I did everything on the same day, so don't worry. This is video 3. I didn't change much. There's a bunch of other cartoons in this category that I didn't bring up because I'm just like, they're good, but I shouldn't really mention it, like Danny Phantom, because I was gonna put it on the list, but I didn't. But anyways, tell me what you think about this in the comment, like these sets of videos. Like, have you ever seen them? Do you like them? Would you watch them? Just tell me. Gravity Falls. This show has 40 episodes and 2 seasons, and it follows a story, like an adventure basically, of this kid called Dipper and his twin sister Mabel. And they went to go spend the summer with their what do you call it, their great uncle, Grunkle Stan. That's a funny ass name, to be honest, right? So they went to go stay with their Grunkle Stan in Gravity Falls, and it's filled with mystery and paranormal forces and supernatural creatures. And the kids in them went there to really just help their uncle run the shop, or the mystery shack, because he has it open for tourists and stuff. It's like a tourist trap, right? But what I really like about it is all the Easter eggs, or all the puzzles and mysteries that they have in this show for us as the audience who are watching to guess and figure out and find us and do our research. Because from the intro to the outro, there's bare things to see and find in the background, in the foreground, in the there's just so much information to just take in. And then it all comes to, like, it has a good plot as a cartoon. Like, you watching it as a kid, just watching it, you're just like, it's whatever. If you're watching it as a grown up, you just realize that, hey, this isn't just for the kids. You can actually, like, be a part of this adventure that's taking place in Gravity Falls, right? Because as funny as it is, and as child friendly as it is, it has so much to offer in terms of mystery and puzzles that you yourself could solve. I just like how everything ties together in the end, and all the mysteries we get answered. Cause, like, where all these mystical creatures and all these stuff coming from, like, why? But we get to all that, and it's really nice. It's really good. Generator Rex. This show has 60 episodes and 3 seasons. And I should start by telling you how the world is. So in this world, there was this big explosion, and in this explosion, there were nanites, like little particles that spread across the world, infecting people. So these nanites, like, they lay dormant in host bodies until they're activated, and it caused them to mutate into, like, hideous monsters, right? And these monsters, they call them evils. I don't know why, but they had a whole acronym. I didn't care to learn until I research it. Anyways, so in this world, there's this kid named Rex. He's like 15 or so, and he's also an evil, but he's a permanent evil with no mutations or anything like that. And he doesn't know how he got like that, and he's able to control the nanites that are in his body, right? And so he can, like, change his hand into, like, this big whip or axe or sword, and then transform it back to himself. And he can also cure people who are mutated and turn them back to normal. So our thing is, now we're trying to find a way to put an end to all what's happening. And it's a really good show. Like, he lost his memory as to why this is happening, and he's also on a journey to figure out those memories, because those memories are also the key to help cure the world of all these plagues, nanite plagues, right? So that's his thing. So he's going around the place fighting all these bad evils who, after they mutate, they lose their mind and they want to commit crime and do all these heinous things, and you just want to put a stop to them. And there's this one guy who's like, I don't know, he's just like the Dr. Evil, and he's literally just like, hey, you're good, right? Boom, evil. And he's just going around the place turning people to evil, and then Rex is going around the place, like, fighting to stop him and turning people back into humans. And it's just a back and forth, but it's actually pretty good. It's well written. Young Justice. This had 72 episodes and 3 seasons, and season 3 was trash. Let's get that over with. It was too complicated. It was too much happening. It's trash. Anyways, so season 1, right? It really starts off everything, set the tone. So you had these sidekicks, right? And they were like, yo, we try being psychics. We be doing the same thing as y'all be doing. Shit. We're probably all equals right now. We should be superheroes just like you guys, right? So let's see. The story follows Robin, who was Batman's apprentice, and then Aqualad, who was Aquaman's apprentice, and then Kid Flash, who was the Flash apprentice, and then there was Speedy, who was the Green Arrow apprentice, and then later on Martian Manhunter's niece joined the team, right? Her name was McGann, right? And they just came to prove themselves, right, that hey, they could be superheroes too. So you'll start with like the Justice League. They didn't think they were ready, and they didn't want them to do anything, so they just told them, hey, y'all just chill and we're gonna set things straight. And they snuck out, did their own covert mission, successfully did, and the Justice League was like, yo, actually these kids actually could do some shit, like nobody know about them, we can send them on covert missions that we can't do because we're so out there in the public. And then season 2 happened with a time skip, like 5 years later, when Robin, now he came from under Batman's wings and became Nightwing, so right there with the wings. Anyways, and then, you know, Miss Martian, or McGann, or whatever her name was, she and Superboy, like, they got like job offers to work at the Justice League, but they're like, nah man, we were trying all the time to get in there, and y'all all of a sudden want us in there now, and they kind of like turn on the position. And then season 3, the trashy ass one, they were just like, there were too many teams and betrayal, and there's a lot of shit happening. But the first 2 seasons were really good. Season 3 is okay, it just didn't live up to the hype as the first 2. Sasha Belle. Now this cartoon used to show on like Cartoon Network, and it has like 150 episodes, 3 seasons, and it's a crazy concept. So it's about demons from another universe, or should I say parallel world, right? And they call these demons Momotos. So every 1,000 years, 100 Momotos are selected and sent to the human world, right? And they have this big battle to determine who's going to be the new king of the Momoto world, or the demon world, right? So each Momoto in their world, they have different attacks and spells that they use to fight with. But in the human world, all their spells are written in a book and locked away, right? So they have to find a human companion who's capable of reading and forming a bond with them, so they can like use their spells. So these human companions are the key for them to win their battles. So they fight along with human companions. So they will have to shout aloud, open his book and read the spell, and shout it aloud, and he will do the spell. So they come from like attack or defense, or you know, enhancers to their physical strength or ability. So they have this big battle leading up to the last one remaining. So it's a battle royale in a sense. So every time they see somebody with a book, they fight, and if you sustain too much damage, your book will catch a fire and it will, you know, disintegrate, and you return to the demon world. Or if your book gets directly attacked or burned or destroyed, then without the fight, you just forfeit your chances of, you know. So it was a crazy ass thing, because now there's this one Momoto that the story follows called Zatch, and he's like control lightning and shit. And he's there battling everybody. He wants to be like a benevolent king, a kind king, and his journey to get to the top is like a really good one. But I love that show. That show was hard. Rick and Morty. This show has 41 episodes, 4 seasons, and this is such a crazy ass show. So the story follows the Smith family, right? So there's like Jerry the father, there's Beth the mother, there's Summer the daughter, and Morty the son, right? And then there's also Beth's father, who's Rick Sanchez. He's a scientist, I should say, right? So the story really follows on the family on a whole, but mostly it's focused on Rick and Morty, right? So they go on these crazy ass adventures, traveling from planet to planet, dimensions, different realities, and all that, right? And then Rick has this cool portal gun, and his spaceship or flying car, whatever you call it, that he goes into space to do all these crazy shit, right? Rick though is he's a mad scientist with a alcoholic, like he's an alcoholic and he's a mad scientist. So try to put those two things together, it's just like a chaos. And Morty, he's not too smart. He's like a young 14-year-old kid who's being dragged around the place by his grandfather on these wild ass adventures. Like, I guess he's just there for being company sake, right? But like it has the science. Look, I can't even find the words. But this is a show that based off like science and stuff, science fiction. But the science in the show feels real, but also it stays true to being a cartoon. Cause you're like, this is clearly a cartoon. But then it also have like, these theories that they're using, they're real theories, but they're just putting a cartoon twist on it. I'm just like, yo, it's such a fun show. And then you have all the world building that they do, and it's crazy. It's a trip. Kids Next Door, the Candy. This show on Cartoon Network had 78 episodes and 6 seasons, right? And each episode had like 2 missions in it, so it felt short but right. And I don't know if it's just me, but growing up as a kid, I wanted to be a candy agent. Like, I wanted to be one of them Kids Next Door agents, dog. Like, I used to build on my clubhouse. I used to build weapons. Man, I used to go out and like fight adults secretly from bushes. Like, I would shoot my slingshot, hit somebody in the car and the window in their house, and their pets and all kind of shit. I was a crazy child. Anyways, right? Kids Next Door is one of the greatest cartoons out there. Like, if you're trying to look for it now, there's no good quality of it, but it's still such a good show. So it's about like a bunch of kids, and they have that Peter Pan syndrome, that they don't want to ever grow up, and they think like becoming an adult makes you somewhat bad, right? You lose that thing that makes you happy, right? So they don't ever want to become adults, because adults are bad people basically. But they know they can't prevent it from happening, and it's going to happen to them one day, because they think like, yeah, being an adult is a disease and they can't stop it. So they try to live life to their fullest. So they have these adults doing all these kind of stuff, and the Kids Next Door being the agents that they are, coming and stop all these kids. Look, the concept of this show alone was a mad creative. They had so many adventures. They had fighting the lunch lady, Count Spankula, man, they had so much. The boss, father and his delightful kid. Yo, this was the show. I love it. Can't even. Adventure Time. With 187 episodes, Adventure Time is a real adventure. So it starts, well, I shouldn't say it starts, the story follows 2 brothers, one named Finn the human and the other one named Jake the dog. Jake the dog is Finn's adopted brother, and Jake can shapeshift. He can change his size and he can change his shape, basically, right? So in this world, they live in let's say a post-apocalyptic world, and the land that they live on is called like the land of Ooh or whatever, right? And all this happened because of this war that happened like years ago, but I think they don't really get into it until like later on in the show, that is a war that made the world what it is today. And they have a bunch of characters in the show that is just crazy and wild. Like, the little adventures are just so funny and just so heartwarming, because like his brother Jake the dog, he's carefree, right? And he just gives all advice when needed to his brother. And whenever they run up to other characters like Princess Bubblegum or the Ice King or the Ice Wizard, whatever his real name is, like, it's just a whole, like, they meet so many things, like the vampires, they meet, I tell you, these characters are so weirdly drawn. I I didn't even know. Like when I first saw the episode with what do you call it? The lumpy space princess, I was just like, yo, this show cannot get any weirder. I I kid you not. I kid you not. But like it has this progression within this show, and I'm just like, despite all the wacky things that happen, I want to see how it plays out. Like I want to get to the end of the adventure, and just watching the adventure play out, man, that's a trip. That's a trip.